Today we're going to start on a second episode and kind of cover a little more about basic point of view, basic perspective that I have after much study and breaking away from everything I had ever grown up with believing. It was a very gut-wrenching time for several years, and although I did not enjoy it at the time, in retrospect, I can see that it was something necessary in order to facilitate the cutting off of myself from belief systems and just all systems, and I spell it CYSTMS, because they grow like cysts that need to be removed because they end up poisoning and deleting, I guess, part of your mind, if you will. And so, as I stated previously, a lot of this information is going to come from Gnostic readings, Gnostic writings of a variety, ancient mythologies, ancient interpretations of accounts that were written in stone. Most of these will predate the Bible by thousands of years. And I do come from a Judeo-Christian perspective. I got pretty heavy into the Hebrew roots movement for a while, so I was just digging at anything for the truth, and I didn't care what it was. In fact, that was what I had resolved within myself, that I was only wanting the truth. I did not care what it was. I didn't even have to like it. I just wanted to know what is. And in this journey, I think I'm on the right track. And so I'm just wanting to share this with you. I'm not telling anybody this is what thou shalt must believe. Make up your own mind. But I do think that it's some information that is definitely going to enrich your own truth quest, as I like to call my journey, and hopefully be of assistance in you getting down to the bottom line isness of what the truth is. So basically what I've done is I call it a technique called working backward. I started from where I was and reviewed the material from all these different resources. And then I would basically it's like baking a cake. You throw it all into a big bowl and you stir it up and you wait on it. Sometimes you gotta cook it. Sometimes you gotta, if it's bread, it's got to rise. And so you've got to spend some time on that. So that is something that I have really been able to tap into my own inner voice and my own inner remembrance of what resonates in this world and what absolutely does no longer resonate with me in the slightest. And so the task then is to release those things that no longer resonate. So we'll take a little break right there, and I'll get right back to you. Gotta go check on the chickens. Talking about using kind of reverse engineering, working backward from this existence where we are now, which I believe is the copy of something that is far greater and is the original, which I spell A-U for gold, A-U-R-I-G-I-N-A-L, original. This is the original, the O for the egg, of the copy in which we are. So I will expand on that later. The reason I look at all these different resources is primarily because in my quest to find out why, I discovered that there is a small piece of truth in each of these different perspectives, be they ancient writings attributed to whatever group. You don't have to believe if they ever existed or not. That's not really the point of this. It's to open our mind to see what are the things that were said then. It's my conjecture that most of the things had to be encoded in ways that we are not familiar with now. However, for some, they're able to see through those encodements and start to bring out the things that had been hidden. In the Bible, in the book of Daniel, the angel tells Daniel to seal up the words of the book until the times of the end. It was not for him to understand or look into those matters, but that at the right time they would be revealed. And so his task was to record it and conceal it. And so that, to me, is a type of encodement. And so for whatever reason, there are those who are now able to start breaking those codes. And there's a variety of different codes. Some of them are the correct codes to break the correct thing. And then there are some that are deliberate diversions that will give you more of the same information as it pertains to this realm that we live in. And so my idea is I want to see things in a way that will reveal the true nature of those things. And so there may be small bits of truth in something, and there could be big old chunks of it. You just never know. And so what I do is kind of break it down and glean the best I can from it. One of my cousins says, eat the fish and spit out the bones. And that really pretty much accurately describes what I am trying to do here. So all of this to say that by working backward and gleaning out those things that resonate on the inside as old and ancient truths, it's not going to be in your conscious mind. This is something that is from the light within the soul. And so this is not a podcast that is going to be for everyone. Not everyone will understand it. Even in the New Testament, the people allegedly told Yeshua that, oh, your words are so hard, we don't understand them, you're a hard man to follow, basically. And he said straight out, it is not for everyone to hear. It is not for everyone to understand. And so it's my conjecture that if one does not come from these things that I'm talking about, they will not be able to understand them. Like things go together. That part of the law of attraction is very true. Meaning that if you don't already have that in you and it's part of your original makeup, you will not be able to recognize it when it comes up again in the now. And so what we're actually seeing in finding these bits of truth is those things that resonate deeply within us because it is part of the original being that some of us are. Doesn't make one better than another, doesn't make one lower than another. It just makes people different. You know, anytime that the world comes out with ways to make everyone the same, I've always kind of stepped back from friends in school that were big into the Bay City Rollers back in the olden days. And they would dress up like them, they would pretend to sing like them, and you know, and I was like, I just kind of stood out to the outside, raised my eyebrows and shake my head because it didn't compute. It didn't resonate with me at all, and I didn't even know what those words meant back then. And so it just didn't seem like something I needed to do. And I've seen myself do this throughout my whole lifetime of these things that the world just loves and adores. And I'm kind of taking a back step, you know, and that's going to include, even nowadays, the whole idea of Christianity and the church and all this and that. I mean, everyone, it seems, just loves the Pope, loves the Catholicism. You know, I grew up in Protestantism, and so I don't know that much about all that. But this guy appears to be someone that they go to for, you know, their version of blessing or whatever that is. And so that would be not something I would join into, but I would take a look at it to see what is really going on there. So the things that the world tends to love, I tend to stay away from. And that is also something that's found in the New Testament. And so this current new thing, I guess, that a lot of people are getting into is the whole idea of the one-point singularity, that they all need to be united, that we're all the same, and you know, to put aside differences, that everyone needs to be the same. Let me tell you, folks, sameness and uniformity and consistency across the board is the way that a machine thinks. Let me say that again. Sameness is machine think. It is an expression, perhaps, of our own humanity, that we can have the ability to step out as an individual and not go along with the crowd and not buy into all the things that we see going on. That is part of who you are. And if you're doing those kinds of things, I applaud you for standing up. There are so many right now that are finding their voice, not a voice of hatred or evil or wishing ill on another. This is a voice of separation. You know, it came to me the other morning. This is the voice of divorcement. In the book of Deuteronomy in the Old Testament, Moses gave the people a means of divorcing. And it means to cut off. And I'm going to get into some pretty big detail on what exactly it is that we are cutting off and divorcing ourselves from. And the easiest place to start is with identifying with the commonalities and the everyone is doing it mentality of the spirit of this world. You see, if you look at the human body, we are not this body, but this body gives us some pretty fascinating hints. It's almost like it's a map within itself. But right at the very bottom of your body, you have two souls. You do. Because we walk in duality. And we have a spirit of this world, a soul, if you will, of this world. And then we also have the spirit of our origin, of a completely different operating system. And we have been divided and split. And so that's why the vessel can be warm one or hot one minute and cold the next. Or it can be super angry and mean, and then the next second it will be super nice and sweet. It's because it's divided. It's split. It's two spirits. The New Testament says you cannot serve two masters. You will wind up loving one and hating the other. I find that to be very true. For years I've tried serving two and finding the balance in between. And I'm of the opinion now, we need to be in a whole different operating system. And that is where we're going to be headed as we continue this journey. We'll take a little break and be back here in a few minutes. quite sure I'm doing that right, but it's kind of fun. So, what we're looking at is we've talked about the need to find the absolute truth. Basically, it's going to be the thing that resonates with your truest, deepest self, not your desires, not your wishes, your wants, anything like that. It's your knower. You will know when you come into line with it. It will feel more like, almost like a memory. It won't be a conscious memory. It will just be a deeper knowing, sense of knowing. I think two things we need to really keep in mind as I continue in these podcasts is, as a machine likes sameness and uniformity, they want to get us into the mindset of thinking that there is only one way that a particular word can be understood, or only one definition, or only this way applies to these people, and all the people in that group are the same, or that this applies to this group, and all of them are the same. You see, it's not like that at all. We're such incredible beings that we have built into us such wondrous variety. They don't even have a machine that can keep up with all of it. You know how they access all that? Is through the Akashic records. They're in the mind wipes. They get the information from our own memories, and they feed that back to us in the programming. Why? Because like things go together. We will readily recognize those things that have originated at some point within ourselves, and they link to it, mix in it, and poison it with these doctrines, or these ideas or concepts, or the little voices in our ears, or the word in our head, or the God voice, skull to brain technology. They feed it back to us. It's the same thing as was brought out in the Matrix movie, when the humans in the pods were not viable. They were flushed, cooked up, and then refed back. To the other pods. There's several movies that have demonstrated this. I can't think of what they are right now, but there is a ton of them. So the two basic things to kind of keep in mind is that everything here in duality has two or more meanings. Every perspective can be viewed from a variety of different ways, just as a diamond has numerous facets, and a person sees it from different points of view and would describe it a little differently until they're able to walk around the entire thing. Same thing with the story about the blind men describing the elephant. Each of them had their own small way to describe it, and none of them was wrong. But each thought that was the only way to describe it. You see, it takes all the little ingredients, all the little pieces coming together, and that's what I have really tried to do. There's also different meaning in the higher energy planes. It will have a different application. So something here on this three-dimensional plane is going to manifest materially in this, where the five senses can deal with it, perceive a thing. In the higher energy levels, things are more etheric in nature. They are a finer energy. This is dense energy. Those are finer energies, and the higher upward you go. And the second thing to remember is that there is the is. which is the final, the origin of everything. Lot of the things in this zone, as I will bring out later, but there is a place that just is, period. There has no beginning, it has no ending, it has none of these things. That would be the true home place. It's not a void that has nothingness in it. It may appear to be a void because we are incapable, A, of seeing it, and B, of perceiving it. Why? Because we are of this domain here. We don't have the essence in the amount that it takes to interpret what would or could be seen in the place where I call is. And then in the isness itself is perceivable and imperceivable matter. So where we live now is a copy of that. The patterns were taken and mixed with a different type of low energy matter. This is a basically death trap. The creators of it have come here in an effort to extend time on the final self-consuming of the energies that have been placed here by their own choice, by their own decision. And I will get into that as well. And so for now, I think we'll stop there for today. I appreciate every one of you. Feel free to leave questions, comments, and ideas if you choose.